What's up, guys? We're gonna talk about hoppers. So one of the more common questions that I got when I worked at a paintball store and when I was the owner of a paintball store was what kind of hopper works best with which paintball gun, or I guess just which hopper you should buy. We're gonna break this down into like 4 different categories, right? We're gonna do beginner guns, pump guns, intermediate guns, and advanced guns. That first category, that like beginner entry-level category, is gonna be those cheap, inexpensive paintball guns that you're starting out with, something like the Tippmann Chronos or Zodin Chaos. And then we jump to the pump category, so anything like pump guns, so like KP3s, maybe the Bob Long MVP, or these used like autococker pump guns. And then that intermediate category is gonna be something electronic that's a little bit higher end than those basic like beginner gun setups. Or not a little bit higher end, quite a bit higher end in some cases. But the Zodin Blitz would be in that category, the Proto Rise, and the Etha 2. And then that advanced category, all this really expensive high-end stuff like say MacDev Primes and CS2s and Lux Ices and those expensive paintball guns. Okay, so this first category, that beginner category, so let's say you do have that Tippmann Chronos. With the Chronos, you really just kind of need anything that's gonna feed paintballs. So you could go with like this basic Empire 200 round hopper that's gonna just work. You can find them for around $4 to $5, really all over the place. Or you could get a little bit something better like the Proto Primo, a hopper I like a whole lot and we talked about very recently in a video right up there if you want to check that out. But the Proto Primo has this shelf built on the inside that's gonna help feed paintballs. That 200 round hopper, all the paintballs kind of try to go down at one time into one hole. Sometimes can get a little like clogged or jammed and you gotta shake it to loosen those paintballs up. The Proto Primo, since it has that shelf, just kind of like consistently feeds. It feeds much more consistently than that basic 200 round hopper. So you can get that basic 200 round hopper or a little bit better one would be the Proto Primo. And then that second category, the pump category, in which hopper is gonna work best for a pump gun. So pump guns kind of pump players, I think, kind of sit in 2 different groups when we're talking about hoppers. You get the guys that only want like basic gravity-fed hoppers, like that basic 200 round Empire hopper. They like those 50 round hoppers or 100 round hoppers. My favorite out of the 50 and 100 round hoppers definitely is the GOG multi-cal hopper. It's a 100 round, it built very well. And I like the shape, it looks cool, and they feed really good. And then there's the other guys that don't really care if they have that small hopper and they want something that's electric that's gonna feed a little bit more consistent than those gravity-fed hoppers. I think in that situation, I am probably gonna choose the JT Revolution. I really like the Revolution. They're old school, they're lightweight, they're super simple, they just kind of work. It's not gonna feed 20 balls a second, but it's gonna feed like, 9, 10-ish. Something that's definitely gonna be good enough for a pump gun. So think about it, you want really small, lightweight, maybe that 50 round or 100 round GOG hopper that I like, or maybe the JT Revolution if you want a little bit more consistency. And then that intermediate category. So the intermediate category, I'm gonna call anything that's electronic, that's about $150 to like, $700-ish dollars, somewhere in there. So being that these guns are electronic, like the Proto Rise or say the Etha 2, they're gonna require an electronic hopper. The whole point of the Proto Rise and the Etha 2 is they have a high rate of fire. So you need a hopper that's able to feed paintballs into the paintball gun fast enough for it to shoot. And since you're kind of in this middle range price, I think a good middle range price hopper is the Virtue Spire IR. I really like the Virtue hoppers. They're made well, they work good, they come apart really easy, they're great hoppers. In that middle price, they're $100. Another good option is also the Valken VMAX. So in that intermediate category with these electric guns, you do need that electric hopper. So Spire IR, Valken VMAX, or maybe the GI Sports Level, that's also a good option. And then the advanced category or the high-end guns. With the high-end markers, you can really use the same hoppers you're gonna use in that intermediate category. I just feel like that if you're gonna spend $1,500 on a paintball gun, you're probably okay spending an extra $100 on like a higher-end hopper. And my hopper of choice, the best hopper ever made, I believe, is the Virtue Spire 3. Everything's really good about these hoppers. They got like Bluetooth so you can program them. Battery life's good, super easy to take apart. Mine's been really durable. They feed fast. Everything's good about the Virtue hoppers. So if you're spending a ton of money on a gun, just buy a Spire 3. It's for sure gonna be worth it. So high-end guns, Spire 3, that's really about all. I think that easily is the best high-end hopper. So let's recap a little bit. You have a basic gun, just using that basic 200 round hopper is perfectly fine, or maybe upgrading to the Primo would be a good idea. You got a pump gun, I personally like that GOG 100 round hopper, or maybe the JT Revolution. If you have an intermediate gun, Virtue Spire IR, or maybe the Valken VMAX, they're pretty good too. High-end paintball guns, Spire 3. So those are my hopper choices. I'm also gonna add a couple more into the description of this. So if you're curious about like other pump hoppers or like other high-end hoppers, just check the description for more of them. If there's something I missed out, if you like another hopper option maybe for your pump gun, do leave a comment below.